The battle for QB1 in Tuscaloosa. Welcome in to the Landon Tangwall Show, brought to you by our friends over at Hoover. Coming into this year, it is going to be redshirt junior Austin Mack versus redshirt freshman Keelon Russell. Now, these guys are going to be duking it out to see who is going to be quarterback one for Alabama this coming year. And do not worry, I watched every single snap from both guys last season, and I'm going to show you guys everything you need to know about each candidate. And we're going to break this thing up into three categories to make it easiest. We're going to go accuracy. Then we're going to dive into processing. How do each guy see the field, and how do they see the play develop and read these defenses? And then lastly, we're going to dive into their athleticism. What can they do when the play breaks down and they got to make plays with their legs? If you guys have been enjoying all this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more film breakdowns like these. Without further ado, let's roll the tape. All right, we are going to start out talking accuracy, and we are starting out with Keelon Russell, and has some really, really nice ball placement on tape here. So he's going play action, and what he gets here is you're getting a vertical route, you're getting the corner route right here from your tight end, and your running back is out in the flat. So really, you are just reading this flat defender. If he comes down on this flat route, then I'm going to go over top to the tight end. If he hangs back, then I'm going to dump this off into the flat. And you see he kind of hangs out and really starts to just kind of drift down right here. So Keelon Russell says, hey, I got arm talent. I'm going to put this right on my tight end. And something really specific that I like about this ball placement right here is that he sees that, obviously, when he starts to throw it, this flat defender is going to see that and turn and run. So instead of placing the ball right here where this flat defender is going to hit me as I catch, he actually leaves it backside, so I'm able to kind of turn around and catch this football. And you see he's actually, because of this, he's able to turn upfield and probably get about another 5 or 6 yards versus if he would have put it and led him to the sideline. And by the way, even does this with a little pressure in the face. That is going to be a theme for Russell on some of these passes. I mean, only 15 passes, and some of them were under pressure. But if you were to, like I said, put this right here, you're getting tackled. So just the placement of the football right here is allowing him to get 5, 6 more yards for his team. Now, we're going to do something similar again. We once again have a flat route. We got a corner route right here, and we have a little sit route right here. We're going to just read this defender in the flat. Now, this is a little bit of a cocky throw because, honestly, he didn't really move, and then he went back on it right away. But Russell doesn't care, and this is why you go out and get a guy that's a unanimous 5-star, because he has the talent to basically completely stare this thing down, and he says, hey, I am not worried about this high safety. I know I can beat him with my arm, and I don't care that this flat defender is dropping back, because guess what? I'm going to put a dime on my wide receiver. I mean, that is – ball placement doesn't get much better than that for Keelon Russell. And then this play right here. I didn't really even know where to put this and what grouping. I just had to put it in something because it was so impressive in one of his touchdown passes. So right here, he's going through his reads. Could he throw this? Probably. I'd like to take that. You could even take that right there if you lead him inside. But, I don't have a problem with it, you being safe. But then he sees, hey, I have a ton of open space. So starts to run and sees, I don't know if I like that all the way because I got a linebacker right here. I got a defensive lineman closing in. Watch him stop on a dime, 1-2. He's going to pop off of this left foot, jump up in the air as he's getting hit from behind, from the front. Boom, right in his wide receiver's hands for a touchdown. But, these are the athletic plays that you get from these just ridiculous quarterbacks that is what Keelon Russell is, where you're just able to stop, jump, boom, ball out, super quick release too, and touchdown. Amazing rep. And then something just kind of simple here. Sometimes you want to make sure the simple throws are going to be accurate, and I really like where he puts this. Now, the reason why he throws this RPO is because you have numbers outside. I have 2 blockers and a receiver versus just 2 defenders. So I don't have a problem with him taking this. The box is way loaded up. So he's right by taking this. And I love how quick it is. And you see, look at the placement of that football. It's right where my wide receiver can catch it and turn upfield. Now, granted, the other wide receivers just get blown up blocking, but that's not Russell's fault. This was a perfect football, perfect placement. And I just love the decisiveness to just, boom, just zip that thing out. I mean, you watch him right here. He's really, really good. And we're going to look at this a little bit more, but really, really good on these RPOs. When he pulls it, boom, pull, turn, hip square to the target. We're firing it, and that's why it's exactly where the ball needed to be. Great job right there. Now, let's talk some plays where there were not so great accuracy. This one right here. This is a little scary for me. I don't like this one because if you want to throw this and you leave this low basically right by almost his feet where he's got to drop down and you want to put this right on him on the goal line. That's fine, but it better be right on him and not basically in the DB's hands. That is a little high, a little scary. You got to be careful with these type of throws, especially in the red zone. When you're going to be my quarterback one and we're going to be playing some big-time games, you cannot be making these type of accuracy mistakes. But, hey, it is freshman year. That is fine. And then, really the only other one that I saw that wasn't a great pass was just this quick little out route. So I'd like if he just a little bit quicker, honestly, as far as his processing. I love if he would just whip that right here or right here. Pick one or the other, but let's throw that thing right out of the break. So wait's a little bit too long, and we're going to talk about processing in a second, but not the best processing right there. And I think because he waited a little too long, he was almost scared that this was going to get jumped, so then he left it really high and outside because he just waited a little bit too long. So not the worst problem in the world, but this was really just one other ball that I just felt wasn't super accurate. All right, now let's move on to Austin Mack and his accuracy. And look, came into the Rose Bowl against the best defense in college football, started slinging it around a little bit. Let me tell you what, this was a perfect pass along the sideline. So you're just going to get a little out and up fake right here. And what I really like is he's going through his reads, and because he is looking at this middle field safety, you're going to get this cornerback is going to kind of match on to this route, especially because this looks like an outbreaking route. So then he's able, when he sees that, hey, this outside cornerback that's playing this outside third is kind of matching on to this inside route, hey, I'm going to get back to my out and up out here and just throw a laser from the 35-yard line to the opposite 37, hits him right in the hands down the sideline. That is a talented throw. And these are the things that I watch his tape, and I'm watching him do this against Indiana, and I just love that. That is beautiful ball placement right there by Mack. And then this one, kind of similar, really nice touchdown right here. Very similar to the Russell throw from earlier. When you have this corner route that you're going to get from this tight end, and once again, you get this defender that's kind of getting sucked down, but last second, he sees his eyes and says, hey, I'm going to start to float back on this corner route. He does something very similar where instead of leading him right here, where this could be a PBU, if he leads him to the back of the end zone, he actually says, hey, we have a ton of space back here. I'm going to lead you backside. I just need you to adjust a little bit for me, and he does just that. So once again, good placement of leading your receiver away from the defender right there. All right, and then another time here against this Indiana defense came in. I wrote it on my notes a couple times. I said, he just came in, Austin Mack, and said, forget about it. I'm just going to start slinging this puppy around. So yeah, I got some impressive stuff here, especially when you're dealing with pressure. So gives a little shoulder pump fake right there, starts to feel a little bit pressure. So he's rolling out. We're going to start to create, and always keeping his eyes downfield. And then on the run, where I'm getting pressure, I'm just ripping this thing, putting it right on him. I find that to be a very impressive throw and kind of a ballsy throw. I mean, these are the throws you are going to have to make in the highest level of the SEC. All right, one more time here. And this is just a talented throw. This is just arm talent. Anytime you are delivering from opposite hash back here to the outside numbers on these out routes, that is a talent throw. This is third down. It is, hey, we know we're probably going to have this, but you just have to be able to complete it. And there's a lot of guys that can't make this throw. So it was just 1-2, and we know we have off coverage out here. You just got to put it on him accurately, and he puts it right in his chest. First down for Alabama. Beautiful job right there. Now, let's talk about some accuracy struggles here for Mack. This one kind of just puts it in the dirt. So he's on the run. You get this kind of boot action where everything's flowing this way, and we're going to flow back this way and get a flood concept where we have a bunch of routes coming across the middle of the field. Now, I will say, you get this DB kind of flying down, and I don't know if there was some worry that Mack was going to lead him basically into a kill shot and what we call a hospital ball, but where he releases this thing, I mean, if he puts that on him, anywhere right here, I think you're fine. I think he's able to catch that and not take too big of a hit, but it's just completely dirted. So that leads me to believe it was just kind of more of a misthrow than him just deciding to dirt it to protect his wide receiver. But, you'd like to be able to kind of complete these somewhat routine throws. You don't want them in the dirt like this one right here. And then this last one, you're going to get one of these situations where you get a flat, you get a vertical route, and then you get a wide receiver that's kind of going to fake like he's blocking, and then boom, press vertical, and does a really nice job, gets him some separation, but ball is just overthrown right there. Now, you did get a little bit of pressure coming on him, but, from the backside, I don't really know if he really felt that. But these, would like for him to be able to put that on the wide receiver right there. All right, now we're going to talk processing. How does each quarterback see the field? And we are going back to Russell on this one, and has some really, really nice reps, especially, like I said, when he is under pressure here. And he does a good job kind of going through his reads. He goes vertical here, checking out where the safeties are, and then gets back under pressure and gets to his little sit-down route over here. But let's talk about this. So first thing, you see his eyes. They go left, then they go middle, and now I'm getting back to the right side, and I'm getting back to the short side of the field. But while I'm doing that, I know that this pressure is coming right here. So it does a really nice job stepping up into the right, just buying a little bit of time, because he'd like to be able to fire this in right here, but my wide receiver hasn't turned around yet. I can't fire that yet. So I'm going to buy a little bit more time as I know that I'm getting hit, kind of jump as I'm getting hit from the back, front, side, everywhere, and I'm putting it right on my guy to be able to turn up, get some yards. I thought this was a really nice job of just kind of progressing through his reads while he was dealing with pressure. For a young quarterback, that is not always easy to do. Now, next rep, this one, I will say, I think he kind of stared down this rep a little bit. If you see from the beginning, and normally how you can kind of tell is you look at the stripe on the helmet, you can see that he's pointed this way. So he's reading just the right side of the field, and I think he wants this the entire time. But this is what I really like. He sees this. You best believe he sees this. A lot of quarterbacks, if they see a free runner from depth, I am scared that my ribs are about to get cracked. Watch Russell just sit in this thing, wait for his receiver to turn around, and he does not care that he's about to get hit. Boom. Let that thing go. And yeah, maybe it's a little bit high, but the ability to process pressure and still deliver accurate footballs, I think that says a lot. And I think that's a really, really impressive throw there for Russell to be able to make. And then this one other aspect of this is the processing of just getting the ball out quick on these routine throws. And he's got a quick trigger. I mean, do you see how quick he pulls it? I love how aggressive his pulls are. He makes it super clear for the running backs that this is not a give. Pull that thing, and it is quick. You see how he whips his shoulders to now get hips, shoulders, everything in line to my target, and boom. And it's got a really, really quick trigger. And so that's important. On these routine throws, a quick trigger like this, the boom, boom, out, that's the difference between a 7-yard gain and just a 3 or 4 yard gain. So I really like that, but that's decisive. That is really, really nice mechanics, and it is a great, great rocket of an arm. All right, and then right here was the one kind of bad processing that I put on. And so very similar to what he just had, where it's the same thing, where I really like it's an aggressive pull, boom, and hips are out. But I wish he would just kind of throw this. Now, the other caveat of what this is a TTO, not just a read option. A TTO is a triple throw option, meaning he has the option first, hand the ball off to the running back. Okay, didn't like that. Now I have the option to pass it out to my guy in the flat. And then the third option is I can just run it. So that's why it's called a triple throw option. So that's why you see some hesitancy here. And he's like, should I run it? Do we have numbers out here? What's the situation? I wish if he was just going to rip it, let's just rip it. Now, it's not his fault that the ball's dropped him and he still puts it right on his face. But right here, let's just throw this thing. Let's get him the ball as quick as possible like we did on the last one so he can turn upfield. But it's just 2 steps and then throws it. So little things. These are very easy to clean up. But this was the one note I had on his processing that could get better. All right, now we are going to talk processing here with Austin Mack. And I think this is where, might have a little bit better processing just because he's so much older. But he's got a lot of stuff where he really goes through his reads. So I like this. So first, he's going to the right side, and he's going to look, hey, do I have this sit route right here? No. Okay, the linebacker's underneath. Boom. I snap over here. Okay, do I have this? Not yet, but now this sit is going to turn into kind of an out route. So I'm sure this is coached where, hey, if you sit and he's right on top of you, let's transition this to an out route, does that, and then boom, just fires it out there. So this is, this is the processing that you want to see, and this is stuff that, you don't really see on the TV copy, but I'm here, okay, not there, boom, I'm over here, okay, that is covered, I don't like that, but now I'm going to convert this into kind of the out route. Yeah, you could throw this in here, but he's still on number 2, and he's patient with it enough that, okay, now it's there, and I'm putting it right on the money on this Beautiful job. Really, really nice pass right there. All right, next one. Now we're going in the end zone against Indiana. Now, a lot of people look at this and say, hey, this is a bad pass. It hits the dirt, basically. I don't like this. But what I see is some great processing. I see him go, okay, number one, right here. Don't like that because, hey, we had a bunch of guys bail out. That's getting taken away. No good right there. Boom. I snap right here. Do I like this? I don't know. It's still a little messy. We got these guys coming down. I don't really like that. Okay, now clock is starting to run out, and I'm looking right here, and I have someone screaming off of the edge. So, not the greatest delivery. That's a hard pass to make when you got someone right in your face, but you can watch it better here. So you see the eyes. They go there. Don't like that. Boom. Eyes. Snap vertical. Don't like that necessarily. And then as soon as I get back, he feels this pressure. He knows I have to get rid of it, and he has to kind of sidearm this around because he's just getting pressure screamed at in his face. So not a good ball delivery or anything like that, but I just this is all about processing and how are you seeing the field. So not every rep has to be necessarily a perfect rep. Now, here's another one where he goes and just gets a couple yards. But something I want to talk about again is I really like how he's going through this. Okay, we're looking middle of the field. Nope, taken away from the middle linebacker. All right, I'm going to my next, but you basically just get 3 curl routes right at the goal line. All right, I'm going to my next one. I don't really like that. That's basically clamped down, and then you get down. You see the turn right here. You get down to your running back, and you could throw this, but hey, this is going to get broken on really quickly, so I have a little bit of a lane, so now I am going to take off. So I like all of that. I do think there's a slight miss here. Now, I also am sitting here at my computer with my mouse, and I was not getting chased by 2-3 defenders of one of the best defenses in college football where this is happening. But it looks like he sees it. It looks like he sees it, but he's a little hesitant to throw it. Just boom, just pop this up over top to him because that's a touchdown right there. That is where you take the next step if you are Austin Mack. All right, and then a couple more right here. Still looking in the Indiana game. And like I said, part of this too is, it's not as fair comparing Indiana tape to, Eastern Illinois, but this is what we got. But I would have really liked to see him throw this football. Let's talk about it from the end zone view right here. So what you're going to get is you're basically getting 2 just deep corner routes. So you get the corner route here, and then you're getting a lot deeper of a cornerback here from Ryan Williams. And so you can actually see the deep 1/3 on this side. He's pointing and saying, hey, take him, take the deep wide receiver, because he thinks he's going to do some vertical or kind of break in towards the middle. But what you actually get here is he's going to come down on this shallow corner route. And you're going to see that right here, Austin Mack, he actually pumps and he stops because he's like, he was looking at this. He wanted to throw this, but he stopped to throw it because he saw this getting broken down on. Now, this is where I'd love for him to process and say, hey, he's breaking down on this. All right, that's fine that I pump fake. I still got time. Everybody's clamped up here. Let's reset and let's throw a deep ball, and that's a touchdown. I mean, you lead him whichever way you want, just this direction, touchdown right there, but instead decides not to take it, rolls out this way. You obviously really have nothing on that side of the field, and you just throw the football away. So would have liked for him to take that one right there. Now, this next one, once again, very easy to sit here and say, I wish you would throw this and make this throw. Because, once again, we're not getting chased where you got a screaming banshee off the edge. But right here, you got about another half a second. Can you get this off? You got space. He is open, and you're about to get clobbered, and just takes it. So that is the next step here for Austin Mack, because he knows he slid the protection this way, but he sees right away that this all got dropped out, and he knows the pressure's coming this way. That's why he drifts. Just trust it. Just trust it and let this thing rip. Once again, easier said than done, but that's the next step from the processing standpoint for him. All right, now let's talk athleticism. How are you able to move with the ball in your hand? That is a big component of playing quarterback these days. And right here, Keelon Russell, he can scoot now. Let me tell you what, this guy has clearly got some speed to him. So right here, what you're going to get, it's basically, hey, I'm looking out here. If that's not there, I'm turning this right into kind of a rollout now. And I got a couple things. I got a deeper route. I got my running back in the flats here. And he just decides, hey, I see yards. I'm just going to go get this thing. But I like the acceleration at the end. That's getting you a couple more yards. A lot of, just kind of average quarterbacks, they're just dipping out. But he is going to get vertical and try to get as many yards as possible. definitely an athletic guy and a guy that on third down, my thought process as a defensive coordinator is I have to worry about his legs because he might take off on us. And then one more rep right here. I think he only had just about 3 or 4 rushes, but kind of goes through his reads, and this is what he brings to the table. If I go through my reads, 1, 2, 3, don't like it, now I'm taking off. Clock is off in my head. I got to get out, and we're just taking off now. Listen, Russell, you can't be taking these type of hits when you're quarterback 1. It was fine when you were a true freshman and you were basically quarterback 3. It was whatever. But we get right here that instead of this movement to try to juke this guy out, I need this to be a slide right here. You got some yards. That was great. You cannot be putting moves on. This is where you get messed up. So take the next step, learn how to slide. But the athleticism, the ability is clearly there for Russell to be able to scoot out of the pocket. And listen, Austin Mack is no statue himself. I mean, he can move. He's got these long legs. So right here, he is going to take off. And I really like this. He kind of tucks initially. So if you watch him, starts to kind of tuck it. Now, hey, both hands are back on the football. I'm looking downfield. Hey, maybe I do want to throw this. But no matter what that does is it puts the closest man in conflict. Hey, do I keep dropping back? Do I get down on this thing? And so then he gives one final pump fake right here, which honestly, I'd be fine if you throw that. I think that's open. Take that. But, hey, we're talking athleticism right here and is able to go and get some really, really nice yards, keep the chains moving. So, he is a threat that if he gets outside of the pocket, he can start to move. Maybe not as fast, but definitely a fluid runner. And like I said, understands how to manipulate the defense a little bit with a pump fake and then take off. And then had a nice touchdown run right here where you get some pressure, you bring in 5 guys, and just kind of scoot out. Like you said, this is the gazelle. These are the long legs. He can kind of take off, and he provides you the ability to be able to get out. So really like this. Like I said, center kind of gets beat right here. I'm stepping up. Same thing. Always keeping the eyes downfield. Both hands are still on the football right now. It's not tucked. I'm going to press vertical. Instead of just leaking out right, he goes vertical first, and then I'm sticking my foot in the ground, getting to the sideline, know that I have blockers here. I have another blocker here, and that is a touchdown. So definitely some athleticism from Mack as well.